Hello, I'm Lenny Pacheco. I'm a middle school Spanish teacher and I'm head of grade 6 at Stanford American International School. So today we're going to be looking at leadership, the 4 archetypes of leadership, the Do-Right model, and John Maxwell's 5 levels of leadership. So we will start by looking at the meaning of leadership. Leadership is the action of leading a group of people or an organization. If we look at the meaning of leader, a leader is the person who leads or commands a group of people or an organization. Some say a leader is born. Others say a leader is made. I say a leader is born and then molded. What are the qualities of a leader? These are great qualities for a leader to have. These are the tools of a leader. There are many ways to use these tools. In 2003, Perkins wrote The 4 Archetypes of Leadership. The answer-centered leadership declares what's to be done and why. Answer-centered leaders provide direction from the top of an organization. The negative side is that the leaders make all the decisions. There is a big risk of not developing staff to their full potential. The vision-centered leadership offers a strong and energizing vision about the general direction of the organization, along with great personal commitment. The downside is that it creates dependency on the leader, and staff might not share the same vision as the leader. The inquiry-centered leadership fosters inquiry at various levels through questions, facilitation, and establishing community and organizational structures supportive of inquiry. The negative side, leaders seem to be weak or lacking in knowledge because the staff is doing all the work. And then we have leadership by leaving alone, which means that leaders leave people alone to find their way. This approach reveals the personnel who have what it takes to survive and assume roles with increasing responsibility. The negative side, the leader is disconnected from staff. So in my opinion, a good leader cannot be stuck in one way of leadership. The leader must be able to use different styles of leadership according to its situation. It is just like a teacher in the classroom. The teacher must adapt his or her teaching style to meet the needs and abilities of his or her students. The same applies with the leader. He or she must adapt his or her leadership style to meet the needs or abilities of his or her staff. Some teachers perform better in an inquiry-centered leadership model. They like to participate in the decision-making process. Some staff like to be told what to do, and they work better in an answer-centered leadership model. Other staff, particularly the ones with lots of experience, like to be left alone. They know what is expected of them. They know the goals, and they like to work on their own. So, the leadership by leaving alone model works best for them. Then, I see the center leadership model to fall entirely on the leader's shoulders. The leader must be able to share and sell his or her vision to his or her staff. How does he or she do it? With the power of storytelling. Simon Sinek tells us that in order for our staff to buy into our goal or our vision, we must focus on the why. Why is this goal so important? The leader must make a connection with the staff's own experiences. As we set our goals, we must be careful with what Fritz calls the creative tension. The leader must show the staff the current reality where the school, the division, or the department stands. He or she then must present the desired results, which they need to be realistic and achievable. A desired result that is too broad, or if the staff feels it's not realistic, it would create a tension that would result in fear and anxiety. Their values are being questioned or challenged. This will create judgment and blaming other staff members or even the leader for not being able to accomplish their goal. Then the staff becomes selfish, which with time, it will create burnout stagnation, and isolation. Who suffers then? Students. One of my beliefs is that happy teachers equals happy students. Then in this case, miserable teachers equals miserable students. This unhappiness reflected in the attitude of the teachers and in their lessons, creating unhappy students, which will result in lower performance and behavior conflicts. On the other hand, if the desired result is achievable and the staff feels it is meaningful, the result will be motivation. This motivation will transform in engagement, which will develop the creativity skills in teachers, making it a collaborative and productive transformation. Who will benefit then? Students. And this is why I always believe happy teachers equals happy students. This happiness reflected in teachers will spread throughout the students, which as a result will be reflected in better performance and less behavior conflicts. I found Robert's do-right model of leadership very interesting, since it reminded me of my school days when I was a child, where I saw the principal as the ultimate authority in school, who was firm and strict, who had all the right answers and no one dared to contradict. According to Robert, the do-right model requires a type of leader that will remain in control all the time, very confident. Someone who takes a stand and holds that position. Someone who advocates for his or her staff, and someone who is rational with his or her decisions. I've seen different heads of departments, heads of grades, and even school principals attempt to be this type of leader, possibly because that is the image we get in our heads when we think of a leader or a school principal. Also, it is the way principals are usually portrayed in movies. I see a connection with this type of leadership and the Answer-Centered Leadership by Perkins, in which both declare what needs to be done. Both bring a safe environment to the institution, since they are knowledgeable, skilled, and informed. The problem with this type of leadership is that staff do not get involved with any decision making. All problems are handled by the boss, so teachers are free to teach, which is not a bad thing for some, but it is for others, since they might feel neglected or not important as they do not take part of any school decisions. This type of leadership prevents staff to work together for a common purpose, limiting the development of teachers. Also, the leader can be read as condescending or mistrustful. There is also the risk of the leader turning into a dictator. I see a great connection between Robert's do-right model and Maxwell's 5 levels of leadership. You will see how the do-right model works as it follows the 5 levels by Maxwell, if it's done properly. Level 1. Position. Let's say you get a leadership role or position in your school. The position does not make you a leader. Teachers will follow you because they have to. You're their boss. Teachers will give you the least amount of time and effort. But don't worry, in this level is the place where you will learn and grow as a leader, until you're ready to move on to level 2. This level is about relationships. As a leader, you must listen to your staff, get to know them, observe, be conscious of what your staff is doing, learn from them. When you respect your staff and treat them as individuals, you begin to develop a positive influence with them. You begin to gain their trust, a trust that develops into respect, which leads into positive working environment. And mainly, have an attitude of servitude. Simon Sinek mentioned, leadership is not about being in charge, Leadership is about taking care of those in your charge. This leads us to level 3, results. You're becoming effective as a leader, making good decisions, showing problem-solving skills, and taking care of your staff. You begin to get credibility. As a leader, you take your staff with you to reach the set goal. Never send your staff to a place where you have never been. I also see a connection between Perkins Vision Center leadership and this level, where you have acquired your staff's credibility and trust, and you move forward to reach your goal. Now, watch this video as it summarizes the Vision Center leadership and level 3 by Maxwell. And we get to level 4, which is people development. Since you know your staff, you know their strengths and weaknesses. You must position your staff in the right place where they will be successful, and the results will be greater in student achievement. Imagine a basketball coach playing his or her players in the wrong positions, such as the center, the tallest player, as a point guard, or the shortest player as a center. In other words, have teachers teach the subjects and the grades they feel most comfortable with. Level 5, it's all about respect. People absolutely follow you because of who you are, the qualities you have, because of what you have done. It's a lifeline journey. In conclusion, this is why I said at the beginning of this presentation that a leader is born and then molded through experience, as the leader grows in the 5 levels of leadership by Maxwell, and is able to use the different methods of leadership by Perkins, according to the abilities of his or her staff. As for my own experience, I currently find myself being an answer-centered leader, expanding into inquiry-centered type of leadership. And as the year progresses, I see where I want to take my grade 6. I'm also developing my vision-centered leadership skills and my storytelling skills. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. See you soon. Cheers.